guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzz.org being the music journalism site. Links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new track to review today, and it's of Escape the Fate's brand new track, Breaking Me Down. And it's kind of new, I guess. I'm a bit late to reviewing this one on the channel. The actual article came out the day the song did, and I'm going to refer to the original article just to give you a more cohesive review. So Escape the Fate, I just don't really know what happened to them. I mean, they were the biggest thing in this sort of emo rock music movement, which is happening around the 2010s, I want to say. And now they reduced less to, like 100,000 hits per video. I mean, they were in the millions at one point, and consistently, whereas now they sort of remind me of Bullet for My Valentine, where they've just, everybody knows the name, but they just don't know where they've gone, and they're just not pulling in the audience anymore. And I'm one of those geezers who did actually prefer the Ronnie Radke era of Escape the Fate. I know a lot of people don't, and I'm fine with that. I just prefer his voice. I don't prefer him as a person. I think he's a pretty lousy person. But I preferred his showmanship and his voice, and I think he added a bit of spice and arrogance to the group, which sort of made them a bit different to the competition around the time. But when they swapped singers, I can understand why they swapped singers. I mean, didn't Radke go to jail or something, and he was a bit of a knob? But I just never really took to this new singer's voice. So back onto the point here anyway, we've got this new song to review, and they released it via music video to YouTube fairly recently. I don't know whether they released it beforehand audio-wise, but I definitely did hear. I saw this from the original music video. And so what did I think of it? And it's kind of bad, in all honesty. It's not the band's fault, if that makes sense, but it's just not great. I think the song is okay. Like, the song bare bones wise is okay, but it's completely ruined here by horrific production. We've heard some of the worst production of the year this month, and this is just sort of capitalizing on that stigma which is beginning to develop this month. And I think there are particular sections here which are exciting and melodic, but then they slip down to these, stereotypical emo progressions, which I found a little bit dull. But overall, I found the track pretty good, but just a little bit outdated. Production-wise, the song, like I said, is terribly bad. It needs a complete overhaul. I'd expect this from a small independent group, but not from a band with this high of a status, because they do have a high status. They're one of the biggest bands in this type of music, and they have been for, 5 to 10 years now. The guitar tones are awful, other than the solo, which at least sounded functional. The guitars just sound really muffled. This distorted guitar sounds really horrendous. It just sounds like it had the totally wrong EQ on it. And to put it simply, it did sound a little bit like white noise, this muffly type of nasty noise. And the bass also sounded way too thin, and the drums almost plastic-like. They didn't really have much impact at all, and the only thing worth keeping for me are the vocals, because they're mixed actually fairly well. So this needs to improve if they're to keep up with the modern rock crowd. I mean, if you're looking at prog music now, you're looking at metalcore music, deathcore music, and even this sort of emo rock type music. The drums are much thicker, the bass is much more heavy in the mix, and it's built for people with subwoofers, basically. The bass is more capitalized upon in modern rock music, which I think is about time it's done that, and this is sort of a little bit behind. This is where I get this outdated feeling from. Musicality wise, the song is okay, but just okay in my opinion. I thought the vocals were the highlight, but everything else seemed a little bit too functional for me. The drums lacked flair in the fills, the guitars stuck to rather plain progressions, and the bass, well, I didn't really hear any bass, so I can't really say about what it did. I mean, I think it just followed the guitars, if in all honesty. The form of the track is simplistic, but at least they tried to put a proper bridge in here. So finally, this is the first track in 10 song reviews which has had a bridge in it. So it was like a breath of fresh air in that sense. The guitar solo in said bridge is pretty good. I mean, it's not outstanding, but it did add this sort of stuff. It's sort of dad rocky, really, this sort of epic type solo. I mean, it was played okay. I mean, it's nothing to really remember it by, but at least they tried it. So lyrically, the song is a little bit cheesy and a bit of a snooze, but it's nothing too bad. I've heard worse lyrics than this during this year, and I'm not going to blame Escape the Fate that much for this. So overall, this track is a bit of a dud, but it's not terrible. It's not the band's fault, in my personal opinion. I think it comes down to the producers and the way the producers are really they need to kick up the backside to sort things out, because this isn't good enough. So I gave this one a 4.5 out of 10. It's a substandard emo rock piece, and I mean, I recommend it for fans of the group. At the moment, I think they're just releasing stuff for fan service, but for anyone else, casual listeners, I don't really recommend you check this track out. So I hope you like this review. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.